Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is morphology. As we are continuing the linguistic series, and it is the second part of the series, and the morphology will be composed of more than two lectures, or maybe two lectures, because I have to teach you many things in this uh, branch. So let's see what is morphology first. Morphology is basically the study of words. It is the study of how words are formed, how they are related to one another within a language. Okay, we know what are words. So in morphology we study about the words, their formation, their meaning change over the time. Now let's see further. Most approaches to the morphology investigate the structure of words in terms of morphemes, which are the smallest units of language with some independent meaning or grammatical function. Okay, now in morphology we study about the morphemes. Morphemes are basically the words, are the parts of word that have some function or meaning. Either they have grammatical function or they have meaning, or they have both grammatical function or meaning. Okay, we will further understand the morphemes. First, let's see what is written here. First, words can be simple or complex. Okay, now simple words are those words that cannot be divided further. They are just made up of one morpheme. For example, tree. Now the word tree, it cannot be divided into meaningful unit further. Tree. But words are those that can be broken into different building blocks or morphemes, like trees. Now, this is the word trees. Trees can be divided into two morphemes. First is base morpheme and second is plural morpheme. Now, what is base morpheme? Its base morpheme will be tree. Tree plus s. S will be plural morpheme. There, here the s performs the grammatical function of making it plural, and base morpheme gives the meaning of actual word, and it is main morpheme here. Okay, now let's see further what is morpheme in detail. Now morpheme is the smallest meaningful constituent of a linguistic expression, especially within a word. Okay, or we can say morpheme is a linguistic unit consisting of a word or word element that cannot be divided into smaller meaningful parts. Now morpheme is the smallest meaningful part. We have studied phoneme, that is the smallest unit that can be pronounced, but morpheme here is the smallest meaningful unit. It is either the grammatical function or meaning. Okay, it can be the word or the part of word. Let's take an example. Now girl, it is the free morpheme. It is the smallest linguistic expression. Now it cannot be divided further. For example, if I separate G, IRL will not give any meaning. If I separate L from girl, GIR, it will not give the meaning. So girl is perfect uh, linguistic expression that has meaning. Okay, now let's see what are types of morpheme. There are basically two types of morpheme. One is bound free morpheme and second is bound morpheme. Let's see what is free morpheme. Free morpheme is basically the type of morpheme that can stand alone as an independent word in a phrase, or we can say the free morphemes of independent basis. Now uh, let's take an example. For example, John sat in the tree. Now here John is the free morpheme, sat is the free morpheme, in is the free morpheme, the is free morpheme, tree is free morpheme. It means that John can stand alone and it can give meaning. John is the name of the person. Okay, and it cannot be divided further. Okay, whereas bound morpheme, it cannot be stand alone but must be attached to other morpheme for meaning or grammatical functions. Okay, for example, s or es, we cannot use s or es separately. It s or es is not giving any meaning. It should be attached to some noun to give meaning. For example, we earlier understood like tree, trees. Now s is attached to tree, and now it is giving the meaning of plural, or it has performed the function, grammatical function of making it plural. But uh, s cannot stand alone, and if it stand alone, it will not have any grammatical function or meaning. Now further, what is bound morpheme? uh, Bound morpheme can be affixes, bound bases, or contracted forms. Let's see what is affix. Affix is letter or letters attached, added at the beginning or end of a word to make a new word. It can be prefix, suffix, or infix. Okay, as we understood it, but bound morpheme cannot be standalone, and it should be attached to some letters to be meaningful. So first is bound morphemes can be uh, either affixes, can be bound bases, or contracted forms. First, we are understanding affixes. Now, affixes are the letters that can be added at the beginning, end, or in the middle, or in the middle. In middle, to make a meaningful word, it can be prefix, suffix, and infix. Now let's see what is prefix. Prefix is an affix which is placed before the stem of a word. Particularly in the study of languages, a prefix is called performative because it alters the forms of word to which it is attached. Now, prefix is attached at the beginning of a letter, at the beginning of a word, sorry. So we have understood that morphemes should be attached to some morpheme to make it meaningful. Okay, now the affixes are the words or the bound morphemes that are attached to the words to be meaningful. Now the prefix is type of affix that should be attached at the beginning. It cannot come at the end or in the middle. For example, this is an example of prefix happy. Now un is attached to happy at the beginning, unhappy, that changes meaning into opposite. Okay, now un cannot be placed at the big end. For example, happy un, it is not correct. Unhappy, it is giving the meaning of opposite to happy. Now let's go further. Suffix. Suffix is an affix that is added at the end of a word or stem to change its meaning or grammatical function. Okay. Prefix comes at the beginning and suffix comes at the end. Like teach, teacher, er. Er here is bound morpheme. Let's see further. Infix is a morpheme that is placed within a root word to modify its meaning or grammatical function. Means it comes at the not at the end, not at the beginning, but in between the word. Okay, they are not very common in English words or in English languages. I have given you example of the word of Philippine language. Here, kinayu is a Philippine word. Here, na is infix. Na is giving the meaning of gathered. Ku is wood. Now we understood a fix. Now let's see what is bound basis. A bound base is a root or base form that cannot stand alone as an independent word. It must be combined with other morphemes, prefix or suffixes to form complete word. Now we understood for free morpheme. Free morpheme was independent base that can stand alone to give meaning. Now here in bound morphemes, the one can be bound basis. Now bound basis cannot stand alone for meanings. For example, bound morpheme will come with affixes to make the word. For example, this reject. Now re is also the bound morpheme. It is prefix plus ject. Now here ject is bound base. Ject cannot stand alone and should be attached to re to give meaning reject. Similarly, permit, deceive. They are also example of this. Now bound morphemes also can be contracted forms of these verbs that cannot stand alone, must come with noun or pronoun. For example, now here ill will, ill of will. Now will can stand alone, but if we make it ill, now it cannot stand alone and should become with other morphemes. For example, I. Okay, now will come. I will come tomorrow. Okay, now will can stand alone, but if I make it like will ill, now it cannot stand alone, it should be attached to I. Now it is contracted form. It is also an example of bound morphemes. I hope you have understood this. Now in next lecture we will understand about open class words and closed class words. Thank you for today, and please like, share and subscribe also, so that I can make new videos more and more for motivation.